Far from the chaos of the city, hidden in the rolling hills of New York, lies a circuit where wild race cars roam free. Hi, and welcome to the third round of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we take the scenic route to Watkins, Glen. From the titanic first turn, through the tire-shredding S's, to the wall-scraping final corner, the drivers will be on the absolute limit as they battle the track for lap time. To get us underway today, please give a warm welcome to your commentator, Scott Stuffy Duffy.
Welcome everyone to the Missed Apex iRacing round 3 of this championship. I hope you are well rested after your summer break and ready for another round of F3 racing here at the brilliant, the classic, the historic Watkins Glen, a fan favourite of many on the iRacing platform, and we are here today for this championship. If you are new to this championship and it's your first time for tuning in, how does this format work? Well, we have only one car in participation, whereas in the past we have dabbled with multiple different iterations of the open wheeler, but we've gone back to the stable that is the F3 car, a long-time stable on the iRacing platform and of this Missed Apex Championship as well. We have no driver classes, it is just one, everyone on the same field as in that single class car, and we have 2 races per round. We have our main race, which is a 30 minutes duration with a mandatory pit stop. Yes, you have to make that pit stop. Don't necessarily have to take tyres, but you will have to refuel, so a little bit of strategy involved here. And at some circuits, tyres are definitely something to keep an eye out on, and of course you can play with the fuel like you can in normal races. Normally in GT3 races, we don't really get so much refueling in the open wheel series, which is a great addition for this season. And then to make things even more interesting, as F1 seems they may be dabbling with, they may be taking inspiration from our very own iRacing series, we do have a reverse sprint grid race afterwards. The top 20 of the feature race are reverse grid for the second race, and that always provides a lot of entertainment, to say the least, as it gives those who aren't always necessarily fighting out up the front an opportunity, and of course it provides us, those who have a lot more skill and a lot more time on their hands, to put laps in for this series and iRacing in general, to show us what they can do and get through the traffic, and it provides us, yes, very much good entertainment. But the drivers are out there now on this circuit putting their laps in. This circuit in itself, we will get to the track in further detail shortly, but we are not using the bus stop for this one, which makes things a lot more interesting and does provide much closer racing. Before we have a look at the track itself and dive into the details here, let's have a recap of what happened last time around.
Britain's iconic Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit was the venue for Season 9, Round 2 of the Missed Apex iRacing Championship.
Away we go, and very well done for a lot of drivers. There was a very long hold as Danny Henny's got a great start. He's around the outside of Stephen Williams down into turn 1, but then Stephen Williams holds on to that track position there as he holds onto the inside line into Druid.
Stephen Williams held off Danny Henny from the start, but Danny took less than a lap to find the line and make a move for the lead.
Danny Henny's got a great run here down into the last corner. Is he going to be able to get past him and swoop around the outside? He has. He's overtaken Stephen Williams, and well, Stephen Williams, who is out of position there, is now under attack from Alex Smithy behind. But Danny Henny, he's got the job done after lap 1.
Further back, Tim Ellis and Alex Dobbitsberger were hard at it, but in the end, the German was just too strong and took 5th place from Tim.
And you can see the toe, super powerful. Tim Ellis is going to defend the inside, but Alex Dobbitsberger with the overspeed, does he have enough around the outside? And he does. Tim Ellis knows that the battle is not worth fighting.
And then the crash berries took hold. Firstly, it was Spanners.
Oh no, Spanners has just gone straight into the barrier. It's like he forgot to brake.
Next, it was a very close call for Colin Ward and Daniel Snorderland.
Colin Ward runs wide and gives Daniel Snorterland an opportunity as Colin Ward has gone into a spin, and Daniel Snorterland, very, very good reflexes there.
And on the very last lap, Jeansy and Jose Coig had a coming together that scuppered both their races.
Oh, they made contact! They've made contact! And they've both lost their rear wing.
Danny Henny crossed the line to take first place, followed by Stephen Williams and Luke Power. Race 2, the reverse grid sprint race, kicked off with Sam Watley leading the way from Steve Rubens and Laurie Smith. But it was Alex McBride who stole the show on lap 1.
But you can see that Alex McBride has got past Steve Rubens down into turn 1. An unbelievable overtake there.
Danny Henny started the race from 20th place, but quickly began cutting through the field.
And Danny Henny's going to make it 3-1 as they head into turn 1. Who's going to be the bravest? As Stephen Williams finds himself on the inside. It's a repeat of the battle. And Danny Henny finds himself coming out on top.
Up the front, Alex McBride was taking no prisoners.
As we see Alex McBride going for the race lead here, as Sam Watley gives very respectful amount of room to Alex McBride there.
And either was Alex Stobbitzberger.
Alex sees a gap. Is he going to go? Oh no! Contact there.
A couple of places further back, Stephen Williams was closing in on Luke Power.
Luke goes considerably wide there through Graham Hill Bend, and we can see that Stephen Williams has the inside. Luke Power's going to try and straighten out his exit on the cutback, and what great racing this is between the two drivers. Luke Power, does he have enough? Who has the slipstream here as they head down into turn 5? Who's going to be brave? Stephen Williams has the inside, but Luke has the outside and the slipstream, and he just doesn't have the overspeed there as they nearly touch out of the exit of turn 5.
In the end, though, it was Alex McBride who came home with the silverware.
But Danny Henny, in all of that, has got ahead of Alex Stobbitzberger as Alex McBride crosses the finish line and finishes in P1 as your sprint race winner. Danny Henny in P2 with Alex Stobbitzberger in third. And here is the championship standings after 2 rounds. We have Stobbitzberger on 155 points with Williams and Danny Henny close behind them, and the top 5, yes, not too much separating them. Either of those, all of those actually, can get to the top of the standings after this evening. As we can see, some missed Apex members there. Spanners is down, I actually can't see Spanners, where is he? Down in 18th there, Spanners, and Matt Trumpets is a bit more further down as well in P30 with Richard Gordon in 31. Just a single class race here, of course, so all to play for, and with some of those already taking drop rounds as well. But we have a good turnout here for this race. Those top 5 seem to all be in participation, so yes, they'll be looking for a positive evening. But Watkins Glen, we mentioned it beforehand, how it's an historic circuit. Well, it has a very long history of hosting top level motorsport. Hosted the US Grand Prix from 1961 to 1980, and now hosts London Motorsport series like IndyCar and NASCAR. But as we mentioned, we have no bus stop chicane here, which can be very detrimental to these open wheel cars, so that's pretty good for us this evening, watching the entertainment as that very long back straight all the way from the exit of turn 1, it is full throttle to the outer loop there down into the chute, and well, we can sometimes see as many as 4 abreast heading into the outer loop, and it's, well, pretty much who has the biggest cojones when they head down into that braking zone. And then of course we have the famous boots out of the hill. Turn 9 is a corner that you really need to be careful of there. We see lots of incidents with the off camber corner that it is. Drivers can get on throttle too early, and there's very little room for error with the barriers being very close to the exit there. But we are in for a very intriguing race here this evening. I'm fully expecting some carnage. So let's have a chat with our Missed Apex hosts, Richard Spanners Ready. How's it going, Spanners?
Oh, hello there, Scottifer. Yes, I'm just leaving the pit lane. This is a lovely track. It's classic, really, and I've saw a NASCAR race here earlier in the year as well. And so, yeah, it's a lovely place to come.
It's a fan favourite for sure as well on the iRacing platform. Had many updates in its time. I think it's actually, by the looks of it, since the latest iRacing update for Season 1, the 2026 season. Season 1? Sorry, Season 4. I'm losing track of what season we're in. But the recent update on iRacing, I think this has had another remodel. I think the curbing, it does look like the artwork has been updated. And, well, the curbing in itself does look a lot more different. But we're not using it this evening, the bus stop chicane. The curbing there has also been altered. It was previously very hard for open wheel cars to go through, and well, it might be a good thing that we're not using it this evening as we have this very long back straight, Spanners, that you are on.
Yeah, I assume I assume people are watching now. There's the chicane there to the right with the cones that are blocked off, and I've got a couple of people joining me in the pit lane. No, they're all swarming. They want to be on the stream, you see, because they know I'm doing the hot lap.
No, it was the curbing. I was looking at the curbing that you went for as my first sight of it. And I'll tell you what, be glad you're not using that this evening, because that looks worse than it was previously.
Coloured curbing here, like on the side here, it's very severe, and the problem is it drags you out and it wrecks your racing line as well.
Yes, the curbing, it's a fine line between using the curbing to your advantage and then staying on it for too long, because you want to use as much track as possible here. That's the quickest way to get around Watkins Glen as you're making your way through the famous boots section in your lovely camouflage livery. Are you even driving a car? I can't even... it's just a steering wheel out on track and four wheels. There's no chassis at all.
So
but as we're approaching the last as we're approaching the last couple of corner spanners, I hand it over to you to take us round the lap of Watkins Glen.
Oh, I thought I was going to get another warm-up lap. Okay, I'm going to go for it, as I've got Jose behind me as well. So a big interesting thing for the hot lap around here is not really how to get it around quickest, it's how you race around here with the slipstream being vital. So early break, fling it in, and not like NASCAR, you can't go all the way out, you have to stay on the curbing. I think if you go all the way four wheels past the curbing, that counts as an off track and you won't get a quali lap. Through this section here, it's flat out, but if one car crashes, everybody behind dies. And as you can see now with Jose, he's got a huge slipstream behind me. Look at that slipstream effect as he goes up the middle, and you can fight into the carousel on the inside and the outside, but I'll demonstrate why you want to be on the outside. Bit of braking there, down one gear, and the reason I want to be on the outside as Jose battles me, as I instructed him to, is so I can be on the inside down, and it's much easier to hold the position as you go down the inside. Now these curves will suck you into the grass, into the barrier, up the hill now, and you have to be patient. It's a later apex than you think, but the hill does a lot of the braking and the work for you. As I come up behind Mark Greenhow now to get a slipstream, this is a very difficult place to make an overtake, as you have to turn blind really early. If you get too far on the power, you go off like Mark did. Now this is a mini coaster turn one, it makes the rear really uncomfortable, and you have to not mind it being uncomfortable. And I know you're cruel about me taking the racing lines, but I'm trying to do it while pressing the push to talk button. It's flat out on the penultimate corner, and then if you're really brave here, it's just a little lift. And can we do it? I've stayed out of the wall for a very mediocre lap of Watkins Glen.
Thank you, Spanners. Very well done there. I give you credit. Now, I've got a little tip for you. A little something I've learned in my many laps that I've done here. The slipstream, as we know, is very important, and you're going to find yourself probably going 3 wide multiple times down this straight. Avoid the middle line. The track, the tarmac is higher in the middle, so your car grounds out and you lose top speed. So ensure you're either on the inside or
let's
ideally...
demonstrate that now. Look, let's demonstrate that now. I'm going to sit in the middle here and see what happens. I didn't lose that much time, you know, Scott.
You will lose enough that you will not be ahead heading into the back straight. So just a little bit of a piece of advice. Maybe the setup is running a little bit more of a ride height here, but yes, try and avoid
some behind the scenes stuff on the setup and conditions today. As I tell you what, because Hote's a volunteer, if I get close enough, I'm going to send it up the inside, even if it means a crash. But in the practice session, the conditions were beautiful. The setup from Kyle is really, really good, and it was just too easy. It was like being on a slot card. So I went back in, and the fun police have nerfed the conditions, so now it's a little bit hotter and a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, you want to make it a bit more entertaining. But sometimes if the car is too easy to drive, it also provides good close racing as well, and we still get plenty of entertainment. But I'm sure this track, a great choice. I don't know whose choice it was. It's definitely one, but I don't... brilliant. I don't think we've been to this circuit too often in the Missed Apex series. So yeah, I'm fully looking forward to what you guys can provide. And yes, I'm fully looking forward to see if you can all make it through incident-free on the first lap. I'm going to say no.
On that, I'm going to say no as well. But one point on that is, of course, we've got quick repair. So if you can make your way to the pits, then you will be able to get any damage repaired. So if there's when there's an incident, the secret is to kind of slow down, minimise the damage, and then see if you can call back to the pits, because you've got to make a pit stop anyway. So if it's on the first lap, it's on the first lap, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, very well said. And with a very large field here, even if you take that fast repair and get back out on track, you can still score yourself some very handy points here, especially with that feature race being 30 minutes long, with a mandatory pit stop as well. So there's always going to be lots to play for, even if you are one of those early casualties. But Spanners, thank you very much for that, and Jose for assisting and showcasing the slipstream and how powerful and essential it will be. Hold your breath, everyone. You didn't send it. Matt, you've got to be a man of...
I chickened out.
You've got to be a man of your word. Unbelievable. Well, there we go, guys. That is your Missed Apex host, Spanners. We will leave you to it to get prepped for qualifying. That is going to be an interesting one as well, as it is an open qualifying session. As you've just shown us, Slipstream is worth a lot of time here. Who can position themselves well, like they do just in F1, and benefit from the tow? The guys who go out there first, they're going to be punching the hole in the air ahead for everyone out behind. So yes, who's going to be that driver? We will see. Not long to go, just under 4 minutes now, as we see Alex Smith, and maybe a little preview there of what's going to happen on the first lap. Oh my goodness, we have two F3 cars upside down, as we don't often see that, like a spinning top. That's not how F3 cars are supposed to be driven, guys. But if you're going to get it out of your system, get it out of practice. But yes, going back to Watkins Glen, as Spanner said, strategy here, racing-wise. Sometimes track position isn't necessarily key. If you are quick enough in the last sector through those tight corners, you don't actually want to be ahead because of that slipstream, and you just want to really, if you are under attack from the driver behind, maybe just let them through and ensure that you get a good exit out of turn one so that you can get back past them at the end of that straight. But we are on board with Tim Ellis now. It is definitely a race that we're going to see a lot of changes of position, and well, whoever is leading down into the first corner, they'll be hoping for some carnage behind so that they can make a breakaway and get out of that all-important 1 second slipstream window that we do have here. F3 cars do not have DRS in this current iteration, but is on iRacing. Maybe in the future we will see an updated F3 car added to the platform where DRS will be available for use, just like it is in the real world version. But this is still a very, very good car to drive, and as we heard from Spanners, the setup seems to be in a very, very good and stable place, but the track conditions offset that a little bit, as Watkins Glen can get super hot. Not quite hot here today, but I think drivers will start to feel their tyres hurting a bit come towards the end of this race. So I think there will be a little bit of an element of tyre management with just the nature of this circuit, and of course the dirty air that drivers will be experiencing, as a lot of load is put onto the front tyres here. You want that front grip, and they do start to hurt towards the end of the race. But to be expected in these early stages of practice with 1.5 minutes to go, you do see the usual suspects: Anton McBride, Smith, Luke Power, Dobbsberger, Ellis, Greenhelm up there, as we see, who is that there? Is that Luke Power taking a detour there? These guys getting it all out of their system before the official session begins for qualifying. I'm really interested to see how qualifying is going to work, because yes, the slipstream is going to be so powerful, as we saw from Spanners. But yeah, very, very interesting race ahead of us, guys. Not long to go. I hope you, as always, are enjoying this preamble before the big event gets underway. If you are yet to hit that like and subscribe button for the Missed Apex Motorsport channel, please do. And of course, as always, head over to the Missed Apex YouTube channel. Just reached over 20,000 subscribers, a great milestone to achieve. So head on over there and hit that subscribe button, and as always, turn on your notifications so that you never miss a live stream, a race review, a midweek mailbag, whatever it is that Spanners decides to post up with, of course, the varying forms of content that are posted on the channel now. And as always, tune in on Spotify and other podcasting platforms, and we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix race review for Sunday evening, which will be live streamed, ready for your Monday morning commutes as we head into qualifying as practice comes to an end. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Right, 10 minutes of qualifying has started to count down there, as you can see at the top left-hand corner of your screen. And, well, who is going to be first out there? Who is going to be that driver that provides the slipstream for everyone behind? And, well, it does seem like Tim Ellis has taken the initiative to do so. He wants track position, he wants clean air ahead of him, and that is what he is going to try and do. But Alex Dobersberger is going to be looking to keep a hold of his rear wing so that he could get that all-important extra few temps down that very long back straight there. It's full throttle, remember, all the way from turn 1 to the end of the straight there. Very, very long periods, 5 corners to be exact, where you are on full throttle. And there is, of course, areas that need to be wary of. Off-tracks are still a factor here, as Spanners showed us, particularly through turn 1. That's primarily where an off-track can occur. Need to keep it within track limits there, whereas time's gone by, those track limits were very, very nice to us all. So, yeah, understandably, no longer is the NASCAR line a suitable line. So drivers need to ensure they keep it within those limits there. And they need to make sure as well here that they're getting their tyres prepped into the right window. As you can see there, the curbing on the exit of turn 8 there, the hill, you could see how, as an example, as we showcased in the track guide via Spanners, that the bottom of the car there of Tim Ellis, it just got caught on that curbing, and, well, he had a bit of a tank swapper there. But here we go. Let's see how they do on these first couple of laps. Tim Ellis is the first driver out there. He is our leader at the moment, but he has Alex Dobersberger very close behind as Tim Ellis hits just misses the apex slightly there, not quite up to temperature front tyres, but he kept it within track limits. We're back getting that banker lap in, of course, and these laps are only going to get quicker and quicker as the fuel burns off and as these F3 tyres come up to temperature, and they're able to keep it tighter to these apexes through the corners. But where is Alex Dobersberger? Is he even going to go for a potential overtake here? Is he that close? Has he timed his positioning correctly? You don't want to be close enough that you are going to be able to overtake the driver ahead of you, but you want to be close enough to get a sufficient. So as he keeps it within track limits here, Tim Ellis breaks down into 4th gear, keeping it on the apex there, hard on the throttle, as he avoids running out wide there. That is a corner, but you can run out too wide and very quickly find yourself running out of race surface, as is this corner as well. Using all the track limit there, you can see that little runoff that is such a fine line in running out a bit too wide there and dipping the wheel onto the grass. Speaking from personal experience, I have done that many a time, and many a race has ended in the barrier there. Drivers here not utilising all of the exit of that corner, maybe thinking to avoid the curbing there. There is no longer an off-track on the exit of turn 8. They can actually use all that curbing if they want, but maybe in this F3 car, that curbing is just a bit too harsh when they rejoin the racing surface. As he makes his way around the last corner, plenty of room between him and the wall, and Alex Dobersberger as well, who has stayed very nicely within a window here to benefit from the slipstream. What times were they able to set? It was a 36.6 by Alex Dobersberger, and he only gets ahead of Tim Ellis by 0.03 of a second, as Danny Henney goes even quicker and absolutely smashes their lap time out of the way there with 4 temps quicker, a 36.284, but these laps are only going to get quicker and quicker, and this order is only going to change. This is not final at all, with only 11 cars currently set a lap. 12 cars, apologies, only setting a lap now. But you can see the trainer cars behind Tim Ellis and Alex Dobersberger there, as Luke Power stops into P2. So improvements to be made for both Alex and Tim here. Smithy makes his way up into P5, Daniel Staunton in P6 as well. But yes, lots of improvement to be made from everyone up and down the field as times are starting to filter in here. Not much change up the grid at the moment. Drivers trying to warm up their tyres, no doubt, to get these banker laps in with just over 5.5 minutes remaining. But this does look like it's going to be an improvement for these drivers here on this second lap as we follow Alex Dobbsberger. Makes his way through the hill there as we switch to Danny Henny, who is currently on provisional pole with that 36.2. Luke Power just over 3 tenths behind. Let's keep an eye on Danny. How does he utilise the exit there? He also keeps it within the curb in there, so maybe that track limit has altered on the exit there, or as I mentioned, the car just does not like the rejoin through that curbing. He makes his way through turn 10. Only one more corner to navigate from him as Tim Ellis and Alex Dobbsberger will be crossing the line now and seeing if they can improve at all. And well, Tim Ellis can and Alex Dobbsberger can, but can Danny Henny improve as well? No, it's a 36.4 for Danny, so he's a couple of attempts off of his previous best. His current provisional pole time, maybe losing the slipstream from the driver ahead affected him there, but Tim Ellis improves as Luke Power goes ahead of Danny by 0.07 of a second, a 36.212 as he jumps to the top of the timing screens. He is currently on provisional pole. Tim Ellis moved up into P2 briefly, but is in P3 and closed that gap to Danny. Alex Dobbsberger was overtaken by Tim Ellis, even though he is in that slipstream, so maybe the dirty air through the corners starting to be a bit more of a detriment to those who are following in the slipstream than that of drivers who are in clean air, as Luke pulls out of the way, doesn't get a good enough of a run up the hill there clearly, and lets whoever that driver was through as they were getting very, very close to them, and we're thanking Luke very much so there. As we switch back to Tim, let's see how he gets through turn 8, the hill again, keeping it nicely within track limits. All drivers not flirting with the exit there as he makes his way through turn 9, off cambered here. The rears really need to be careful with the rears here. So often is it around this track, it's all about the fronts, but that corner in particular, it is the rears that catch you out. You need to be very careful of feathering the throttle to ensure that you do not apply too much power and spin those wheels up as they come across the line for the third time here, and they'll get another couple of laps, it seems, before this qualifying session is out, and it is not an improvement for Tim as or Alex Dobbsberger as well. As we see Spanners, he is currently sitting in P14. Can he improve? Maybe the tyres only have a couple of laps here before they get too hot, and that is it. Really is probably maybe only the second lap where you will be able to hit a fast time. Let's see, Spanners comes round the last corner. Oh, he's pushing. He is pushing. Really, really close to the wall there, closer than I've seen anyone thus far, and he moves up into P. Oh, he doesn't improve actually. He was a 37.387 there. Looked very quick, but a couple of attempts off, and yes, we are seeing very little improvements here in the closing stages of this session. So in qualifying trim, these tyres just aren't lasting that long to go quicker and quicker, as Trumpets currently in P22, and he didn't improve there as well. Best lap was a couple of laps ago, so yes, very, very little improvements here. I wonder if anyone has enough time to pit and take a fresh new set of tyres. I don't think anyone has done so at the moment, but currently your top 10 is Luke Power on provisional pole with Danny Henny 700s back in P2. Tim Ellis is P3 with Alex Dobbsberger P4. Smithy is in P5. Jose is in P6 with Frick in 7th. Daniel Staunton in 8th. Colin Ward 9th, and Mark Greenhow in 10th. And it's very, very close there. If anyone can gain a 10th for a couple of hundredths, it can gain them a couple of decent positions here, just like it is in F1 now these days, where just a very small improvement can be made. As Alex Dobbsberger does improve, the first driver to improve for quite some time. He moves himself up into P3 ahead of Tim Ellis, who allowed him to get through. So maybe that clean air did benefit in cooling his tyres off a little bit, and he was able to take full advantage of that. A slight improvement, but enough of an improvement to move him up one position. But with only just over 1 minute remaining of this open qualifying session, there isn't too much change as it currently stands. Very, very difficult circuit to try and gain time, really, with so kind of little hard braking zones. It is all about the exit of the corners here. more so than it is about your braking ability into these corners. And yes, once everyone is kind of gets into the swing of things, there isn't a lot of improvement that we see. And in this qualifying session, as well as we mentioned, the track temperature a bit hotter than it was in practice yesterday in this stable setup. The drivers are most definitely starting to see their tyres not performing as well at 100% right now, but it is going to provide us, of course, a very, very interesting race in just under half a minute's time, as Luke Power is our provisional pole sitter at the moment. So unless he is not going to be improving as he is bowed out here, so unless there are drivers crossing the finish line now and have maybe called off their tyres, Danny Henney, one of those drivers seeking to get on pole position, but maybe he doesn't want pole position. It's a bit like Spa, this track. You don't necessarily want to be that driver getting in pole position and leading at the first corner. You want to be the driver behind so that you can slingshot past them down into turn 5, the outer loop, and well, maybe that's what Danny just cheekily did there. A 37.0 from him on his last lap, unable to improve, and it does seem like, but no one here is going to be able to improve in this last lap at the moment. So it does seem like Luke Power has secured provisional pole with Danny Henney in P2, with Alex Dobbsberger P3, Tim Ellis 4th, Smithy in 5th, Jose is in 6th, Alex McBride 7th, Sam Harper in 8th, Frick Smith in 9th, Daniel Snortelen in 10th, and that is our top 10. We'll run through the full grid shortly when the drivers make their way to their grid slot and starting positions. But yes, a few drivers not setting a lap time either, whether that was by design or whether that's a genuine tactic, because as we mentioned, I am fully predicting some carnage and entertainment in this feature race where we will have a mandatory pit stop. Danny will not be too upset with that, and well, as he just showcased us there, maybe with this new iRacing update, curbing in particular is no longer viable to use all of the track surface on the outside the NASCAR line, but never used to be an off track and used to be viable in even open wheel cars to rejoin the track there safely. Maybe it's not the case now these days, but Danny Henney, just like we've seen from many a race circuit in real life, there are some tracks where pole position is arguably the worst position to start, and I do think this track is exactly that. If Luke Power leads into the first corner, well, he's going to have he's going to be under full attack, not just from Danny Henney, but from those very close behind as well. I'm fully expecting to see minimum 3 wide on the first lap heading down into the outer loop multiple times, as this track is very, very wide and wide enough to fit probably even 5 of these F3 cars side by side, and it's always going to provide us some good racing. But yes, not long to go now. 10 seconds until qualifying officially comes to an end as drivers are on their in laps, and we'll be gridding up for our feature race this evening. So our drivers are gridding up. As you can see, we will be running through our grid order for round 3 here for the feature race at Watkins Glen. Luke Power on pole position of 36.2, followed very closely by Danny Henney. Alex Dobbsberger in P3, Tim Ellis 4th, Alex Smith in 5th, Sam Harper is 6th, Jose is in 7th, Alex McBride is 8th, Prick in 9th, Daniel Snortelen in 10th, Mark Greenhow 11th, Colin Ward 12th, Barry Kemp 13th, Andrew Sexton 14th, Richard Malden 15th, Callum Hunter 16th, Spanners 17th, Colton Myers 18th. Matthew Brittle 19th, Laurie Smith 20th, Matt Strong 21st, Dimitri in 22nd, Tom Jefferson 23rd, Matt Trumpets 24th, Joel Cox in 25th, Alex Murafakani in 26th, Mike Stoner in 27th, Stephen Williams in 28th, Sam Watley in 29th, and Stephen Taylor in 30th. Those last 3 not setting a lap, or last 2 not setting a lap time. That is our grid order for this Watkins Glen feature race. We are only just waiting for a couple of remaining drivers. Will anyone decide to start from the pit lane? I've seen that tactic utilised many a time here at this circuit, and well, I'm sure many will do as well with a fast pit, with a fast repair in use. Is a reminder that drivers do utilise that, even if they're caught up in incidents early on, as we do have plenty of opportunity for scoring points with mandatory pit stop. But not long to go here, guys. Drivers are all lined up. Who is going to lead into turn 5? Who is going to lead down into turn 1? Will Luke want the speed position to Danny Henny? Well, it'll be a bold tactic to do so, but let's see if everyone can make it through safely with this 30-man strong grid for this race. There is potential for many things that can happen here. Here we go, lights are on, 5 lights. They're out, it's green light, away we go, and there's a puff of smoke from drivers behind, maybe dropping the clutch a bit too early as they make their way down into turn 1 as Luke Power leads from Danny Henny, and Danny Henny will not be too upset about that, as it is now full throttle for all of these drivers as they make their way through the chute, down the back straight, as Danny Henny has to pull out of the slipstream with Luke Power as he actually gets too close. That is how powerful it is. It is currently a drag race between Luke Power and Danny Henny as Luke Power moves to the inside there. You can see them avoiding the middle of the track, as we mentioned earlier on, a little bit of a tip as Danny Henny with that slipstream leads the race here at the end of the back straight. And as we predicted, P2 is pretty much de facto pole position as Luke Power now comes under attack from Alex Lobsberger behind, but he backs out of it sensibly, and Danny Henny leads as they make their way down into the boot section now of this race circuit. Thankfully, it seems to be that all 30 drivers have made their way through the chute, through the back straight and the outer loop here, this half a lap on this opening lap at Watkins Glen safely. We have had no incident thus far, so very impressive, and round of applause for everyone participating, as it did seem that Tim Ellis was coming under attack by Sam Harper. I think Smithy was coming under attack from Tim Ellis, or regained that position there in the background as we are following our leaders here as we are approaching the last couple of corners. It seems that everyone has made their way through turn 9 as well, the treacherous turn 9, safely on this opening lap. And as we come around the last corner now, it is Danny Henny leading from Luke Power, but Luke Power is fully within half a second and will be thinking about slipstreaming himself and slingshotting himself, back past Danny Henny and doing a return to sender as we are on board with Freak there, regaining the position for Daniel Staunton. But is that a viable strategic decision there? Because as we know, the slipstream is so powerful here. They're so close. There's little lifts having to be had here, as it does seem like Mark Greenhow may find himself a little bit boxed in. He's got nowhere to go at the moment. He's using Freak ahead of him. Apologies, no, Daniel Staunton, so many blue cars. He's using Daniel Staunton to his advantage to drag him past the drivers ahead of him there, and he's actually going to gain 3 positions potentially, but he's got Daniel Staunton still on his outside. He's trying to hang it around the outside, very bold here. Lots of room being left. They're a respectful racing. They're going to be hard on the brakes as they make their way down here. Need to be careful, but they don't apply too much power and keep it within track limits. They're still side by side here. This is the nature of Watkins Glen as they head down into the toe section of this circuit, and it does seem like for now that Mark Greenhow has gained that position, and a bit of a wobble there from Colin Wolf behind, as Daniel Staunton is now going to be thinking not attack but defence from Colin behind, as Luke Power at the front did indeed regain the lead from Danny Henny. He now has a 6th lead over Danny Henny, an 8th lead, 7th lead. It is fluctuating a little bit as Danny Henny now finds himself within the dirty air, but will we see those two slingshot past each other again when they make their way down this lap? Well, it does seem like that, really, Luke Power has pulled out a significant gap there in this lap after, or the half a lap there on lap 2 to get away from Danny Henny. But we're just about to now see how truly powerful this slipstream is there, as Luke Power utilising all the track limits, probably picked up an off track there. It won't be a slowdown, but he'll have to be keeping an eye out on keeping those track limits to a minimum. But Danny Henny, rather than thinking ahead, he's going to be thinking about looking in his rearview mirrors. There's not much he's going to be able to do here, as Dollersberger is going to slipstream comfortably past Danny Henny, and he's going to have to tuck in behind unless he goes very late on the brakes. No, he tucks in behind, except his medicine. Still a very long way to go in this 18-lap race with a mandatory pit stop still to be had. But Danny Henny, who did lead this race after the end of lap 1, now finds himself down 2 positions into lap 3. And these drivers, there's going to be a bit of gamesmanship had between them. They don't want to fight too hard because want anyone in this front pack of this top 5 to get away, because they all still have an opportunity of winning this race. They don't want to lose time, and they don't want to lose that all-important slipstream out of turn 1 down into turn 5. We've seen how important it is. I expect this game to be played for the remainder of this race, as there was a puff of smoke in the background. I wonder if someone has lost it through the toe section and maybe just used too much track and dipped a wheel on the grass. We will maybe get a replay of that to see exactly what occurred, but we can see Colin Wald here looking to try and overtake. As we have a replay here, is yes, exactly as I predicted. Oh, front wing damage, that will be there. Not entirely sure who has crashed there. I think that is that Stephen Williams who has crashed there. Tom Jenkins, apologies, has crashed there, and just, yes, as we've seen, bitten off a bit more than he can chew through the toe there, getting on throttle a bit too early, and well, went round into a spin into the barrier, but we'll see if he has his front wing still intact. He might have got away with it. If not, he does have a fast repair to use, and he can also use that, tick off that mandatory pit stop as well. But we can see here drivers slipstream galore as Luke Power is coming under attack. Alex Dobersberger slots in back behind Danny Henney, and they've really closed up behind Luke Power there. He did pull out around 7 tenths at the end of the last lap, but we can see that's now been brought down to 3 tenths behind that of Luke Power. So yes, the front 5 staying very, very close here at the moment. Tim Ellis is sitting very nicely, just allowing Alex Smith to drag him along the top 5, separated by just 1.6 seconds at the moment. It is super close, and this is going to continue on, I imagine, for quite some time, with maybe some fireworks at the end of the race. We've seen strategies and gamesmanship like this before, and most recently at Spa in one of our previous championships, and well, it's all a waiting game until that last lap where things do then get spicy, as Luke Power is definitely going to be under attack, I reckon, from Danny Henney, but he'll have to be careful, as he has done already, of his rearview mirrors of Alex Dobersberger behind, as we're on board with Mark Greenhow now, who did gain a few positions, but has now lost a position. Oh, he's going for a set, or is that a pit stop for Mark Greenhow? Is he thinking about an early pit stop here? Yes, we have some early pitters. Andrew Sexton, another one of those. They're thinking about getting out of this battle and trying to find themselves some clean air here early on and get rid of this mandatory pit stop that has to be taken. We'll see if that bold strategy works for them, as it's only lap 5 of this race, and it's a very, very interesting and difficult pit stop, pit entry as well, as Alex Dobersberger is towing himself and slingshotting himself straight past Danny Henney here down into the outer loop of turn 5, and Tim Ellis as well is thinking about maybe going for a move on Alex Smith. I think they're side by side there as they head down through turn 5. Oh, Tim Ellis thought about it, but he slots back in behind Smithy, and well, they haven't lost too much time there, as they are still within just 1.6 seconds of the leader of Luke Power, who at the moment is just probably more so driving in his mirrors than he is actually looking forward, as yes, he is seeing a change of position every single lap behind him, with that bright red livery of Danny Henney and the black livery of Alex Dobersberger. As we have Spanners, I think that is that Spanners in the, no, Sam Harper, I think, in the background there, making a move on Alex McBride into the hill. A great move there from him. One of the first moves that we've seen through that section of this track. Did think a very similar livery there, but in the background, yes, you can see that utilised the exit out of the toe, and well, easy, nice on the brakes, and fair and respectful racing, as we get to see so often in our mixed Apex iRacing Championship. As we rejoin Sam now, who finds himself in P6, but for how long? And this is the thing, isn't it? Is that really the main overtaking opportunity, as we have seen, is, oh wow, Alex McBride, they definitely would have picked an off track up there for sure, using the NASCAR line, which is now no longer efficient, but well, it is efficient technically, because you can stay on full throttle. You can be quite cheeky, to be honest, and I'm sure the marshals will probably look at that, as it does look like the top 5 were changing the position quite a lot there. There was a lot of side-by-side action. We'll rejoin that shortly, but we can see Matt Trumpets here down in P20 in your gold livery. He is racing Sam Watley and Dimitri here. He is in the slipstream of Matthew Brittle right in front of him, and he's going to utilise him to drag himself past Sam Watley if he can. But on the inside there, Matt Trumpets has been caught napping. Can he hold it around the outside? This is very, very close racing here. Even if it is at the back of the grid here, we have good racing all around as there is a car in the barriers. Who is that? There's a car in the barrier through turn 6. Someone has made contact there, not entirely sure who it was. It is not our top 5, but someone has gone into the barrier, and it is Spanners. Oh dear, what has happened there? That is most doubtly a mechanical failure with his equipment. A real shame for Spanners. It's not often that you see a driver going full speed straight into the barriers there. We'll drag Spanners into the chat now just to see what occurred. Spanners, is everything, well, everything's clearly not okay, but what happened there, buddy?
Oh, hello there. That's just a tech failure. So, it happens in racing, and my headset just blanked out for about 3 seconds, and I just tried to guess the inputs that I would need, and it went in the wall, and I'm just glad it didn't take out Smith, because it was lovely. I was having a lovely battle with Smear and with who was behind me, I can't remember, but it was good fun, so it's a shame for it to end that way.
Can I just say, you guessed the inputs. It looked like you just put your foot down on the throttle.
Oh, right, no, because it happened before the corner. So as it was coming down the hill, it blanked out, and then I had to sort of pick my braking point. But the main thing was, I thought if I aggressively steer into the apex or whatever, maybe I'll take someone out. So yeah, really, I was Oh no, can I be sad, please? Do I have to pretend to not mind?
You can be sad, of course you can. A tech failure is very, very unfortunate and a real shame because he was having a good race there, as you said, but utilised that fast.
Well,
as we said, utilised that fast repair.
The tempo is 2 minutes, so I'm going to 20. So sprint race and just go for it.
No worries, mate. We'll leave you to it, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. There we go, tech failure as predicted here for Spanners. It was, yes, very odd for him to go in full speed into the barrier. And yes, when you have a black screen on your VR headset, yes, there's not much that you can do. As we are seeing a change of position again for Danny Henny while we were talking to Spanners there. Tim Ellis has maintained his position with Alex Smith. They are 2.2 seconds back from Luke Power, though, and it does seem that Alex Dobbsberger and Danny, they did fight for that position a little bit longer than they maybe wanted to, going side by side, losing all important time, as we can now see that Tim Ellis is looking to comfortably get past Alex Smith now. He's kind of removed him from the slipstream of Alex Dobbsberger ahead, the front two ahead, and I think he will have this move comfortably done. Or they're going to, no, he's not, as, he has to brake a little bit early, and this is the nature of the outer loop here. They're side by side, and this is going to be very, very interesting here. With 8 laps, with 10 laps remaining, and Tim Ellis trying to hold it around the outside. You did think he had the advantage, but as is the nature of this circuit, the outer, you can carry more speed on the outside, and then on the next corner, you do have the inside, and Smithy utilising what he knows of the track here, track knowledge, to have and maintain that position on Tim Ellis when we thought it was done. So very, very good racing between the two of them. I'm sure Tim, he's been around the block here on the iRacing platform and the Missed Apex Championship for many a year, so I'm sure he will ensure that mistake doesn't happen again. As we can see now that Danny Henny trying to close in the gap on Luke Power, as that is lead is currently sitting at 6 tenths. Alex Dobbsberger 1.1 seconds, 1 second back from Luke Power now with 10 laps remaining. As we can see, Luke Power trying to break the toe, just a little bit of weaving there from him, acceptable amount of weaving, only a couple of changes of direction there as they didn't head into the braking zone. It wasn't moving in the braking zone, trying to break the all-important slipstream, as we can see how influential it is going to be now, as Alex Dobbsberger is going to look at potentially getting back past Danny Henny, but of course they don't want to lose time to Luke. They don't want to let him through, but you can see he's all under the rear wing as Danny Henny is not thinking about Alex behind, as Alex is indeed just lifting off the throttle there and holding position for now. He's thinking bigger picture. If we fight, we are just going to lose time to the leader, that is Luke Power, and well, they have a nice buffer behind to Alex Smith. as Tim Ellis and him are probably fighting for P4 now, unless there is something that happens up ahead where they are brought back into these podium position fights. But yes, that 1 second range is really where you need to be, or just under that 1 second range to benefit from the slipstream here. And that is what the front three are trying to do now, is just pull themselves away from including a couple of extra cars in this podium position fight. Of course, remember the top 20 here will be reverse grid, so Luke Power, who currently finds himself in P1, and Danny Henny P2 and Alex Berger P3, they will be reverse grid and starting 20th, 19th and 18th respectively when it comes to the sprint race following our feature race here. All three drivers still yet to make a pit, all top five still yet to make a pit stop, as well as we can see Sam Watney in P21 going side by side with Matt Brittle there. A lot of racing room left between both of them as they keep intact, but that is the nature of this circuit. We're seeing plenty of wheel-to-wheel racing with how wide it is and with how close these F3 cars can get together. But at the moment it is Luke Power leading from Danny Henny and Alex Dobsberger in P3 as Alex is looking to close that gap again to Danny Henny. He does it every single time, but is he going to use the same tactic to stay behind him and just lift? Or is he going to think about, no, I can get past him here, I'm the one who can get close to Luke? No, he is holding station for now, so that is definitely some gamesmanship and bigger picture being utilised by Alex Dobsberger there, maybe even Danny Henny, and the two of them just working together on chat at the moment. Maybe a cheeky little message has been sent, but let's try and chase him down. But at the moment, Luke is doing a very, very good job. While he doesn't have the benefit of a slipstream of anyone ahead of him, he does have the benefit of clean air, and that will be a lot more kinder to his tyres than those behind as they make their way down into the hill. As we can see, a free wide here. Oh, Sam Harper shoots straight through like a missile down into the outer loop there. But he is going to be coming under attack from Alex McBride, who may be thinking about coming around the outside, but there is a lot more track that he needs to cover. And Sam Harper, who came through, yes, like an absolute missile rocket ship, so much overspeed through the middle of the Mike Stoner and Alex McBride, finds himself up into P12 and not far. There's a bit of a gap between the top 12 from P12 to the top 11 as it currently stands. But Alex McBride going for a move again. He's poking his nose down into the toe there, but we have a pit stop. We have someone entering the pit stop here, and what occurred? So some pit stops now being made there, and tight entry line, as you can see, of this pit stop. Need to be careful. We have seen many of incidents, as we do have an incident as, oh no, Alex Smith has blinked out, but I do have confirmation he is still racing. So a brief technical issue there for Alex Smith. We have unfortunately seen him disconnect in the past. I hope that isn't commentator's curse. I do apologise in advance, Blix, if that does happen to you. But yes, I thought it happened again. But Alex Smith is still going. He's actually catching the back of Danny Henny, who has been overtaken by Alex Dobsberger, who is thinking about this race win. Can he catch Luke Power, who has been leading? He lost the start of the lead. He lost the lead at the start of this race to Danny Henny. Pole position being the worst place you want to start on this race, but he got it back swiftly on the next lap, and he hasn't looked back yet. Well, I'm sure he has looked back physically in his rearview mirrors, because he has seen Alex Dobsberger and Danny Henny close up very close multiple times. Not enough to get past. He's holding them at arm's length right now. 7/10 is the gap, and it's good enough for him to hold on to the lead as he heads down into the all-important outer loop. But these drivers still yet to make a pit stop. That pit entry and that pit exit, it could be the be-all and end-all of where these drivers finish. That extra 10th or so, that launch out of the pit box, a slight longer exit into the pit box entry could be the be-all and end-all of whether these drivers finish on the podium or not. As we are seeing pit stops now, Jose and Frick in the pits as it currently stands, pitting from the top 5. Where are they going to rejoin? We did see some drivers pit very early on in the form of Andrew Stexton, And well, we will see how they're making early undercut, as we do have 3 wide going into the outer loop, and this is not what Alex Dobsberger will be thinking. He'll be thinking, what are you guys doing? We're losing all important time to Luke, and Luke will be thinking, yes, run away, as he can see that gap has now gone to 8 tenths. But Alex Smith, who did struggle in his battle with Tim Ellis, but held on to it tremendously, has got past Danny Henney, who started on the front row, and well, Alex Smith now finds himself on the chase of attacking Alex Dobsberger. There was a little radio message that I saw pop up from Mr. Henney, so I'm not sure if he was too happy with that decision, but this is a motor race, guys, and we are here to go racing. But of course, there is the bigger picture. They all want to win this race, and at the moment, Luke has been controlling this race perfectly, and he now has a near 9 tenths gap to the drivers behind, who you do imagine this fight is going to continue to go on. None of these drivers still pitting. Lap 12 completed of this race, on lap 12 of this race, 11 laps completed of this 18-lap race. Let's see how these front 4 fare, but Luke Power most definitely has the advantage now. It is pretty much his race win to lose, you do suspect, with that near 1 second advantage, but even so, he is losing a bit of time in the slipstream, as Alex Smith is getting past Alex Dobsberger before they even got out of the chute. But they are side by side. Alex Dobsberger, is he going to slot in behind? I do suspect he will, but look who's coming onto screen now like an absolute rocket ship. It's Danny Henney, but he comes into a roadblock and backs off there. If that was last lap, we could have seen some absolute carnage there. I'm sure Danny Henney would have seen an F3-sized gap through the two of them there and thought about it. But all this has done, it has allowed Luke Power to extend that lead to over 1 second now, and that's what these drivers were not expecting to do. But Alex Smith, while Alex Dobsberger and Danny Henney were playing the long game, has just thought, I don't want to play that game. Here I am in P2, and well, he now finds himself looking at the rear wing of Luke Power, but he's probably looking at in his rearview mirrors more. And I guess the question is that in his battle with Tim Ellis, how much tyres does he have available? He did have a bit more clean air for a little bit longer than that of Dobsberger and Henney, who have been trading positions and under each other's rear wing for quite some time, and also contending with the dirty air of Luke Power. Well, Alex Smith didn't necessarily have to contend with that, and I think he is gaining a little bit more in the corners, but as we've seen so often, there's going to be more changes of position, of course, as they make their way once again for the 14th time up the back straight. Down the back we have here Matt Trumpet, who is not participating in the sprint race, unfortunately, this evening, so this is his one and only race, but he is getting in the mix of it and finding himself with some good racing in front of him, trying to chase down John Cox as it currently stands, as Alex Dobsberger does indeed get back past Alex Smith there at the top, as we can see on the timing springs. But Alex Smith is thinking about holding it around the outside. He is getting very racy here, as Luke Power did use a bit of more track than he would have wanted to, and Alex Smith holds on to it again, as we saw him do with Tim Ellis. He has utilised that same tactic again. He lost that outside to inside line, and well, he finds himself holding on to P2 at the moment, and brilliant racing to hold off Alex Dobsberger. Danny Henney still in P4, frustrated as it currently stands, and these drivers, they're going to have to make their pit stop soon. I guess it's when it is going to be. Alex Smith, he runs wide there. He runs wide. He has a bit of a moment. He's going to be out of position as he makes his way out of turn 9. But it is still enough. He has enough grip in those tyres to hold off Alex behind. Alex wasn't able to capitalise there. Danny is under the rear wing. Who is someone going to try and do the undercut here? It does seem like Alex Smith, I think, might be coming into the pit lane. He is indeed. Smithy pits and releases Alex Dobsberger and Danny Henney, but that leaves them 2 seconds behind the lead of Luke Power, who did start on pole position but lost the lead after the first lap, but then regained it back from Danny Henney, who is in P3. And these two have been trying to play the long game, slingshot each other to try and catch Luke Power. They've found themselves absolutely attacked and blindsided by Alex Smith as he dived into the pit lane from P2, and these two are now fighting for the scraps of the podium positions here. It's still a good haul of points for them, of course, but the race win is what they want. as Alex Dobbelsberger is our current championship leader with Danny Henney currently in P3. So these are all important points for these two in the championship standings. Luke Power will be gaining a sufficient amount of points here today as well in this feature race. There's still more on offer in the sprint race as well. So the top 5, as we saw at the start of this evening, is going to be changing order, but by how much we will see. But very, very close racing here. I guess when will these guys pit? They have to pit. They can pit on the last lap of the race, but how influential is it going to be? We will see. Alex Smith did rejoin in P5. He has a 1.4 second gap to Dimitri ahead of him, who is still yet to pit as well. And maybe Alex Smith, has he pitted maybe at the wrong time? Has he come out into some traffic? And will Danny Henney and Alex Dobbelsberger be able to do the overcut here on Alex Smith? We will see. 2.3 seconds is the gap to Luke Power. Are either of them going to pit yet? As they come around the last corner, Danny Henney pits. Danny pits and releases Alex Dobbelsberger. So interesting, one after the other, as there's a puff of smoke there in a lock-up for Danny Henney as he entered the pit lane. We'll see if he's maybe got a drive-through penalty. He has received one already, remember, a stop-go penalty for a pit lane entry infringement back in round 1 at Okayama after leading in that race, which he had to unfortunately relinquish. Otherwise, he might be our championship leader as it currently stands. Hopefully, he hasn't picked up another one. But Luke Power also pitted as well on that lap. Apologies to miss that. So Alex Dobbelsberger is our leader at the moment, but we know he is in net P2. Is he going to be able to do the overcut here on Luke Power and that of Danny Henney as Danny Henney rejoins close behind Luke Power, as you can see, as he has got the overcut done on Alex Smith, but Alex Smith has the exit out of turn 1. He has that extra top speed, even with the slipstream that Danny Henney got from Luke Power exiting the pits. Smithy is going to be like a rocket ship here, and well, he loves this outside line. We've seen him utilise this so often. Is he going to do it again? He is, but I'm sure Danny Henney will be thinking about maybe trying to stick it on the outside. Does he think about doing it? No. Alex Smith regains P2. He did lose a little bit of time, I think, potentially from Dimitri ahead of him. As he runs a bit wide there. Runs a bit wide, but still holds on to that position. But they did most definitely gain on Luke Power there. It was a bit of a slow pit stop from Luke Power as that gap was 2.3 seconds. He now finds himself only 8 attempts ahead of Smithy, but there are laps, not enough laps here really left remaining for the guys behind. Alex Dobbelsberger is in the pit lane, so we'll see how he fares. Very, very close here. It's going to be a close exit, as we have already seen. How is Alex Dobbelsberger's pit stop going to be? How much fuel has he maybe been able to save to potentially ensure that he doesn't have to spend a long time in the pit lane? Apologies, getting tongue-tied there as we have 2 laps to go. You can see them coming down the start-finish straight. Luke Power weaving, trying to break the toe of Alex Smith, but it does seem like that Alex Dobbelsberger has significantly lost out here. That extra lap for him has unfortunately lost him quite a bit of time, as these guys will be putting out the gap as he is a bit slower out of the pit lane entry. Will he be able to, with 2 laps remaining, get past Danny Henney and get back onto the podium positions? But Alex Smith could be taking the win here, because Luke Power is fully under attack from Smithy. We can see there, but Luke Power weaving a little bit as Smithy goes for the move on the inside. Is there going to be contact side by side? And Smithy is in the lead as they make their way down out of the outer loop. Luke Power looks to try and do the cutback back on Smithy, but he holds it on the apex. And this is unbelievable racing here in the closing stages. Luke Power gets, oh my goodness, he nearly goes into the back of Smithy there as they make their way into the toe. And there's 1 more lap remaining. Smithy has a bit of a moment. Oh, there's contact. Luke Power has a moment off of the exit of the toe. It does seem like that maybe it was just wheel on wheel and a bit of a net code issue there. I can't see front wing damage just at this moment in time as what happened out of the exit there. We are got an absolute fireworks going off here, as no, it just moved over, and maybe it was a moment. I'll have to get them in afterwards to see exactly what occurred. I think I can see, yes, he does have his front wing still on the car, but he has front wing end plate damage as it currently stands. Luke Power, who has led this race tremendously, but a couple of little errors in the last couple of laps here, as we are on the final lap, has meant that he has lost the lead, and well, he could now be losing the podium positions here, as he is going to come under full attack from Danny Henny, as Alex Smith is running away with this race with some brilliant racing here and some brilliantly timed moves, as Danny Henny comfortably slipstreams past Luke Power, but Luke Power, he's not going to lose a lot of top speed, but he will lose downforce and cornering ability as Danny Henny moves in front of Luke Power, as Luke Power thinks about braking hard on the inside, but he doesn't have enough as it's not that hard of a braking zone, and now he's going to have to think about defending from Alex Dobersberger, and no, in the space of just 5 corners, and well, Luke Power has gone from leading this race and is now down in P4, and I tell you what, with only a half a lap remaining, with the most corners in the last couple of sectors remaining, he needs to be careful that he doesn't make another error and lose P4 as well. But it is Smithy leading from Danny Henny with Alex Dobersberger in P3, Luke Power in P4, Tim Ellis is in P5, closing down that gap. If there was another lap, maybe Tim Ellis could catch Luke Power. As you can see, he's just losing so much time as he does not have that cornering ability at the moment. I said there'd be fireworks in the closing stages of this race. It was a waiting game, and boy, did we get it. But boy, did I not expect to see Alex Smith win this feature race as he comes around the last corner and crosses the line with the checkered flag thrown. Alex Smith wins the feature race, round 3 at Watkins Glen. Danny Henny in P2 as Danny Henny in P2. Alex Dobersberger in P3. Luke Power finishes in P4 with Tim Ennis very close behind. Let's grab Alex Smith and have a chat with him, because what an unbelievable drive. Smithy, just tell me how you've just done that.
I've got great news and I've got bad news.
Oh no.
The great news is I don't know how I did that. The bad news is me and Luke got a 4X on the backstretch, and I may have a black flag.
You do have a black flag from what I am seeing on my overlays here. Oh no, Smithy!
I don't care, I'm still classing that as a win. That was a win on pace, so ignoring the black flag.
That was an unbelievable win that it does look like, unfortunately, is going to now be awarded to Danny Henny. But wow, what a battle. You came from absolutely nowhere. You timed your moves perfectly. The one around the outside on the outer loop, you did multiple times to defend and attack. Well done, buddy. Thoroughly deserved. But we're gonna grab Danny Henny now, who does look like he is, unfortunately for you, Alex, the winner of this race.
It's all good.
Just grab Mr. Henny. Mr. Henny, it seems like you are the winner of this race, because unfortunately for Alex Smith, he has picked up a black flag for too many incident points with contact with Luke Power. How was that for you, buddy?
Who's the winner?
You are.
Oh, all right.
When the official results come in, as yes, it has now been acknowledged, and yes, you have been promoted to P1, Alex Dobersberger P2, Luke Power P3, and Alex Smith, unfortunately, he drops down to 16th after winning it out on track. But the moment from Luke Power, the moment with Smithy and Luke Power, unfortunately, gave him too many incident points. But what a race that was. You was working very hard with Alex Dobersberger, and I imagine you got a bit frustrated when you saw Smithy fly by.
Yeah, with a pair of them, to be fair. I was going, be smart here. I don't want to play him leapfrog, but let's not lose Luke. And then I can't remember which one it was. Smithy come up the inside, and I went, this ain't clever. And then we all dropped back, and I thought, game over. Because I just couldn't. I could hold Luke to the gap, but I just couldn't get within a tenth or two to get the slipstream. So I was trying to say to the others, just play clever here, let's zone back into him. But hey-oh, they love a battle. So I pitted early to get out the traffic, and then it was looking good. And then Smithy kind of took off, got Luke, and I thought that was it, game over. But a win's a win. I'll take a lucky one. So yeah, enjoy it.
Well done, buddy. We'll see you. You'll now be starting. You're going to have a lot more fun in the sprint race, starting down in 20th place. So that'll be enjoyable. We look forward to that.
Yeah, cheers, Stuffy. See ya.
There we go. A dramatic end to our feature race this evening. Danny Henny, who finished second out on track, wins due to that black flag and that penalty. Unfortunately, given to Alex Smith, who drops all the way down to 16th there. Alex Dobbelsberger finishes P2, and Luke Power, who was leading this race tremendously for so long with a couple of errors at the end, fell into the slipstream of those behind, and, well, he finishes P3. At the bottom there, we can see a few non-runners. It seems Stephen Williams was unable to start this race. We lost Alex Moroficani, Spanners, who we spoke to earlier on, Colin Ward and Barry Kemp there a lap down. So only a few incidents in this race. I thought there was going to be more, but we got full entertainment in the form of some brilliant racing and for the race win. We'll see you guys shortly for our reverse sprint race.